Okay, so if you're listening and, maybe planning that next big trip, you're probably looking for that sweet spot, right? That place that's like stunningly beautiful, but still feels authentic.
Like a real discovery, not just another pin on the map.
Exactly. And today, we're basically giving you the blueprint for a place just like that, Hiriketiya Beach, or Hiri, as people seem to call it.
Down on Sri Lanka's southern coast, it's quite something.
So we've done the homework for you. We've gone through, well, everything. Traveler reports, guides, even talked to some digital nomads who've spent real time there.
Yeah, our goal here is pretty simple. Boil all that down for you, give you the actionable stuff. We want to go deeper than just a quick blog post, you know. Look at the geography, the vibe, the actual mechanics of why this place works.
Right. We want to figure out how Hiri went from this sort of local secret to this, well, global spot for certain kinds of travelers without completely selling out, if you know what I mean.
It's known for that perfect mix, isn't it? Great surfing, serious relaxation, and just, wow, incredible natural beauty that feels preserved.
So this deep dive is really for you if you like knowing the details, if you travel intentionally, or maybe you're just looking for a different kind of rhythm. Let's unpack Hiriti.
Okay, first things first. To really get Hiriti, you have to understand where it is. Its location is, well, it's key to everything. It's not somewhere you just casually pass through.
So let's jump into that. Section 1, location and geographical advantage. Where are we talking about precisely? And why does that specific spot matter so much?
All right, so Hiriketiya is right on Sri Lanka's southern coast.
Yeah.
But it's slightly tucked away, just off the main drag. If you're looking on a map, find Dickwella town.
Dickwella.
Futuri is right next door. And that's important, actually. Being near a proper town like Dickwella means you've got access to essentials, banks, maybe a bigger shop.
But the beach itself doesn't feel built up because of that proximity.
Exactly. It keeps the beach feeling separate, more secluded.
Okay, and thinking about getting there, those travel times really shape the experience, don't they? Let's talk logistics. If you're coming from Matara, which is a fairly big hub nearby.
Yeah, Matara is important for transport connections.
Yeah.
From there, it's quick, maybe 30 minutes-ish.
So easy enough to pop over if you need something specific from a larger town.
Right. And then if you're comparing it to other well-known spots along the coast, like, say, Marissa, which is much busier.
Yeah, Marissa's definitely got a different energy.
From Marissa, you're looking at about 45 minutes to Hiri, and that little bit of distance, that 45 minutes, it makes a difference.
How so?
Well, it means Hiri doesn't get completely swamped with day trippers.
Yeah.
It keeps that slightly more exclusive feel. You have to want to go there.
And if you're flying into Sri Lanka, coming from Colombo, the main gateway, that's a longer haul.
Oh, yeah, significantly longer. You're looking at probably 2.5 hours minimum. Yeah. Even with the Southern Expressway, which is a great road, it's still a proper journey.
So it's a destination you actively choose, not one you just stumble upon during a coastal drive. It filters the type of visitor, maybe?
I think it does. It discourages that high volume, just passing through tourism. And how people get there, that also tells you something.
Okay, what are the options?
Well, you've got the usual suspects. Tuk-tuks, taxis, local buses are super cheap. But what comes up again and again in the sources is scooters. Renting scooters is huge there.
Right, not just transport, but a lifestyle thing.
Totally. It signals that independent spirit. People want to explore on their own terms, use Hiri as a base, zip around the coast or inland a bit.
Okay, this feels like the core of it now, the geography. You mentioned this horseshoe bay effect. Explain that.
Yeah.
Why is the shape of this bay so critical?
Ah, yes, the horseshoe. It's not just a pretty shape. It's the absolute engine driving Hiri's appeal. Imagine this deep, almost perfect crescent carved into the coast.
Okay.
And it's protected by these two rocky headlands on either side. Crucially, the bay faces southeast.
Why does the direction matter?
Because it gives it amazing protection from the main monsoon winds, the strong southwesterlies that can really hammer the rest of the coast, especially in the summer months.
Ah, so it's naturally sheltered. That specific angle is key.
It's everything. Because of that shape and orientation, the bay acts like a filter, a wave filter and a tide buffer. So the water towards the middle and the back of the bay stays really calm, consistently calm.
Meaning great for swimming? Safe?
Ideal for swimming. All day long. You don't get those scary rips or strong currents in the main swimming area. That's a massive draw, especially for families or people who aren't strong surfers.
But it is famous for surfing, so how does that work if it's calm?
Right. Here's the clever bit. The magic happens at the mouth of the horseshoe, between those headlands. When the ocean swells roll in from the Indian Ocean, the headlands kind of funnel that energy.
Okay, like squeezing it.
Sort of. And the angle is just right. It catches the swell, features it, and transforms it into these really nice, consistent, manageable waves that break along the sides of the bay entrance.
So you get both calm swimming and good surfing waves in the same small bay.
Precisely. Gentle in the middle, waves on the sides. It's this amazing geographical fluke that basically makes everyone happy, a perfect setup.
That structure, that consistency, it must directly influence the whole atmosphere, the pace of life there. Which brings us neatly to section 2. The distinct vibe, we're talking digital nomads, and this idea of authentic chill.
Yeah, it's definitely got a specific vibe. People who arrive, especially if they've just come from somewhere more developed, like Unawatuna or, as we said, Marissa, they notice the difference immediately.
How would you describe it?
It's just incredibly chilled. That's the word everyone uses. Welcoming, relaxed, and somehow still feels genuinely authentic. Like it hasn't been totally overrun. Sources talk about a soft landing or a sustainable pace.
Hasn't become a big commercial machine.
Not yet, anyway. And the mix of people there reflects that sort of slower, more intentional energy. It's not just a constant stream of two-week holidaymakers.
Who is there typically? What's the community makeup like?
Well, a huge driver of the local economy now is definitely digital nomads, people working remotely.
What draws them specifically, apart from the beauty?
Infrastructure, actually. While Sri Lanka's internet can be, bit hit or miss sometimes.
Understatement of the year sometimes.
Yeah. But Hiri has a reputation for relatively decent connectivity, good 4G mobile signal, and quite a few cafes and guest houses have actually invested in proper fiber optic connections.
Really? What kind of speeds are we talking? Enough for video calls?
Often, yes. People report getting speeds around 15, maybe 25 melodies down, enough to reliably work online, which is obviously crucial.
That's the key, isn't it? A beautiful beach is nice, but reliable Wi-Fi pays the bills for that crowd.
Exactly. So you've got the remote workers, then you have a serious contingent of surfers coming from Australia, Europe, wherever. They know the waves are consistent and good for practicing, maybe for a longer stay.
And there's another element too, right? The wellness crowd.
Oh, definitely. A big yoga scene, lots of retreats happening nearby or right there. So you get this convergence. People looking for work freedom, physical activity like surfing, and mental clarity or wellness.
And that blend creates a specific kind of community.
Yeah, it feels quite tight-knit. The lines blur between the longer-term travelers, the nomads, and the local business owners. It has this temporary sort of global village feel. It's friendly.
Okay, but let's push on that a bit. This sounds idyllic, but Hiri's is small. When a place gets popular with, let's face it, a relatively high-spending group like digital nomads who stay for months, doesn't that cause tension? What about rising costs? How does it stay authentic?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the sources suggest a few things are helping, perhaps surprisingly. First, the geography itself imposes limits. There just isn't that much flat land right around the bay to build huge resorts on.
So physical constraints help.
Big time. Second, a lot of the businesses, the guest houses, the cafes, are still locally owned. It hasn't been completely bought up by foreign chains or massive developers, at least not yet.
And that helps maintain the character.
It seems so. There's this kind of unspoken agreement, maybe, about the pace of development, about keeping the scale manageable. The locals seem to understand that the chilled vibe is the asset.
So the growth has been more organic. Smaller places, boutique guest houses, often run by people who get why visitors came in the first place.
Pretty much. It's this specific hub for slowing down. And it seems to be managing that partly through self-regulation and those physical limits we talked about. People aren't rushing around taking off sites. They're settling into a rhythm. Sun, surf, work.
That laid-back energy is baked in.
Yeah, it's a feature, not a bug.
Okay, speaking of rhythm and activity, let's zone in on the surfing. Section 3. The surfing scene learning and consistency. We touched on the Horseshoe Bay mechanics.
Right, and that consistency is just so important for surfers. The way the bay is shaped means that even when the swell isn't perfect, there's usually something rideable, something manageable.
Unlike some other Sri Lankan spots.
Exactly. Some of the open beach breaks can be massive and scary one day, then totally flat the next. Hiri offers reliability.
And it's known as a great place to learn, right? Not just for pros.
Absolutely. The conditions are often ideal for picking it up or improving. The wave height is usually pretty friendly, maybe 1 to 3 feet typically, occasionally up to 4 feet on a bigger day, but generally manageable.
And the type of wave break, is it scary?
No, that's another key point. It mainly breaks over sand. It's a beach break, which is way less intimidating and much safer for beginners than surfing over sharp coral reef, which you find in other parts of the island. Fewer cuts and scrapes.
Makes sense. Safer falls.
And the waves themselves are often quite gentle, quite forgiving. They don't usually pitch you over instantly. They sort of crumble, giving learners that crucial extra second to try and stand up to practice their pop-up.
So, genuinely good for absolute beginners.
Honestly, the consensus is it's one of the best spots in, well, maybe all of Southeast Asia if you're just starting out. Seriously.
Wow, okay. And if someone wants the absolute prime time for waves, when should they book their trip?
The peak season, when the winds and the swell direction line up perfectly for that bay, is generally November through to about April.
November to April.
Yeah. During that window, you can pretty much count on finding decent rideable waves almost every day. Perfect for learning or moving from a big beginner board to something a bit smaller.
And the infrastructure is there to support that. It sounds easy to just show up and surf.
Totally. It's very turnkey. You don't need to lug your own board across the world unless you're really attached to it. There are several surf schools right there, literally on the beach sand.
Makes it super accessible.
Incredibly. They've got stacks of rental boards, especially the big soft top ones, that are perfect for learning, and they all offer lessons.
What about the instructors?
Mostly local guys who've surfed here their whole lives. They know that wave inside out. They know exactly where the best takeoff spot is depending on the tide, where to push you into a wave. Really good experienced coaching.
Let's put some numbers on that. You mentioned lessons. What's the typical cost? In local currency? Sri Lankan rupees, LKR.
Okay, so a standard beginner lesson, usually lasting maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, including the board hire. You're looking at somewhere in the range of 3,000 to 5,000 LKR.
Right. And just to give people a sense, 3,000 NKR is roughly, what, maybe 15, 20 US dollars, depending on the exchange rate.
Something like that. Maybe even less sometimes. It's incredibly affordable.
And that affordability changes things, doesn't it? It means you're not just taking one token lesson.
Exactly. You can afford to take 5 lessons or 10 lessons over your trip. You can actually commit to learning and improving rather than just ticking a box. For 5,000 rupees, getting 2 hours of coaching and the board is amazing value.
So consistent, gentle waves, great local instructors, super affordable lessons. You can see why it's a surfing hotspot, especially for learners.
It's the perfect combination.
But okay, what if surfing isn't your thing? Or you just need a day off? Let's move to section 4, activities, wellness, and what's nearby. What else is there to do right in Hiriketiya?
Well, besides surfing, the bay itself is obviously great for just enjoying the water. As we said, swimming in that calm central area is really popular. The water's warm, the sand is soft underfoot. Lovely.
Can you snorkel there?
You can, yeah. Around the edges of the bay, near the rocks, there's some small patches of coral and decent fish life. Pretty good for a casual snorkel.
Need to bring your own gear.
That's the feedback, mostly. Unlike surfboards, finding good quality snorkel gear to rent can be tricky. So yeah, if you're serious about snorkeling, probably best to pack your own mask and snorkel.
Okay. What else happens on the beach?
You see people playing beach volleyball sometimes, just casual games popping up.
Yeah.
But the main event, the daily ritual everyone seems to join in on, is sunset.
Ah, the sunset viewing.
Absolutely. Hiri has these incredible, unobstructed views as the sun drops into the ocean. Everyone just stops, finds a spot on the sand or at a beach cafe, and watches. It's a real moment of collective calm.
Nice. And you mentioned wellness earlier. It sounds like that's a big part of the Hiri identity, too.
Huge. It's not just 1 or 2 places offering yoga. It's like a whole ecosystem built around it.
So yoga studios.
Multiple dedicated studios, yeah. Offering daily classes, usually vinyasa or ashtanga, different levels. Plus, lots of places offer massages. Ayurvedic treatments are quite common and affordable.
And retreats.
Yeah, you find multi-day meditation retreats, silent retreats, often hosted slightly back from the beach in the quieter areas or up in the hills nearby.
But even if you're not doing a formal class or treatment.
Even the simplest act feels like wellness there. Just finding shade under a palm tree, ordering a fresh king coconut, you know, the bright orange ones?
The best ones.
So sweet. Just sitting there drinking coconut water, watching the waves. That is the wellness experience for a lot of people, that intentional slowing down.
Okay, but what if you get restless? If you want to explore beyond the bay? Is Hiriketiya a good base?
It's actually a fantastic base.
Yeah.
Because several really interesting spots are super close, easily reachable within, say, a 45-minute tuk-tuk ride or less.
Okay, give us some highlights. What are the go-to day trips?
Well, for a bit of culture, you absolutely have to visit the Waguru Vihara Temple. It's technically in Dickwella, so right next door.
What's special about it?
It's got this enormous seated Buddha statue, like 160 feet tall, plus these incredibly graphic, kind of terrifying depictions of Buddhist hell in this underground tunnel.
Yeah.
It's fascinating and a real contrast to the beach vibe.
Whoa, okay. Buddha statue and depictions of hell. Got it. What about natural stuff?
The Humanaya blowhole is a popular one. It's supposedly the second biggest natural blowhole in the world.
A blowhole. Like water shooting up.
Exactly. Seawater gets forced up through this crack in the rocks. Can shoot up really high, like 60, 70 feet sometimes. It's pretty dramatic.
Any tips for seeing it at its best?
Yeah, try to time your visit for high tide, or just after there's been a big swell. That's when the pressure builds up and the spray is most impressive.
Good tip. Anything else nearby?
Well, since Marissa's only 45 minutes away, lots of people based in Hiri will arrange whale watching trips that leave from Marissa Harbor.
Ah, right, for the blue whales.
Exactly. Especially during the peak season, which conveniently overlaps with the best surfing season, November to April, you have a decent chance of spotting them.
And for more active types?
The hills just behind the coast are great for jungle trekking. You can hire a local guide or just explore some of the trails yourself, get away from the heat, see some different scenery, maybe spot some monkeys. Hiri's a surprisingly good launch pad. Okay, moving on to something crucial in Sri Lanka, the food. Section 5, food, flavor, and importantly, local prices. You can't really understand the place without talking about the food, right?
Absolutely not. And Hiri sounds like it delivers on that front too, even though it's small.
Oh yeah, the variety is pretty impressive for its size. It manages to cater to, like, completely different tastes and budgets side by side.
How so?
Well, you've got the foundation, the super authentic, incredibly cheap local places, often called rice and curry houses.
The classic Sri Lankan meal.
Exactly, buffet style usually. You get a plate of rice and then load up on maybe 5, 6, 7 different vegetable curries, maybe a fish or chicken curry, complex spices, slow-cooked, amazing flavor. That's the real taste of Sri Lanka.
And very affordable.
Dirt cheap, honestly. Then, right alongside those, often literally on the beach, you have the trendier cafes aimed more at the international crowd.
The digital nomads and surfers?
Yep. Serving up excellent coffee, proper barista stuff, smoothie bowls that look like works of art, avocado toast, Western breakfast things.
So you have both ends of the spectrum right there.
Totally. And then, of course, being right on the ocean, seafood is king, especially for dinner.
Fresh catch.
Definitely. Fishermen bring it in. You often choose your fish, maybe a whole snapper or tuna steaks, big prawns, and they grill it right there on the sand for you.
How's it usually prepared?
Often with classic Sri Lankan spices, maybe a marinade with chili, turmeric, lime, curry leaves. Simple, fresh, and delicious.
And with the wellness focus, are there good options for vegetarians or vegans?
Loads. Hirei is actually really good for that. Lots of cafes have specific healthy menus, dedicated vegan and vegetarian sections. They use coconut milk and everything. Amazing local vegetables like pumpkin curry, eggplant curry. It's very easy to eat plant-based there.
Okay, if you had to recommend 1 or 2 must-try specific dishes for someone visiting Hirei.
Beyond just general rice and curry, for breakfast or a snack, you have to try coconut roti.
Roti, the flatbread.
Yeah, but these ones have grated coconut mixed into the dough. They're dense, slightly sweet, usually served warm with maybe some spicy sample like a chili chutney or dal curry. So good.
Coconut roti, got it. And for dinner?
That grilled fish we mentioned, just pick a fresh one, get it grilled with those local spices. Can't beat it.
Mouth is watering already. Okay, let's talk money, the financial snapshot. This is key, especially if you're thinking of staying a while. Give us some typical price ranges in Sri Lankan rupees, LKR.
Right, let's break it down. That local rice and curry meal we talked about.
Yeah.
You're consistently looking at somewhere between, say, 500 and 800 LKR.
Which is like, what, $3 to $5 US? For a huge plate of food?
Yeah, incredible value. Now, if you go for that Western-style breakfast, the fancy coffee, the smoothie bowl, the price obviously jumps up. You're probably looking at 800 LKR, up to maybe 1,500 LKR for that kind of meal.
Still pretty reasonable compared to back home.
Oh, definitely. A freight fruit juice or a big smoothie might be around 400 to 700 LKR.
And the seafood dinner on the beach.
That's usually the most expensive meal, but still great value. Depending on the fish and the place, expect to pay maybe 1,200 to 2,500 LKR per person.
So overall, even the more international options are quite affordable. You can see why people can afford to stay for weeks or months.
Exactly. It allows that longer-term, slower travel style that defines Hiri. Quality food without breaking the bank.
Okay, that frames the cost of living well. Let's move into the final section, section 6, practical tips and accommodation logistics. You've decided to go. Where do you actually stay?
Right, accommodation. Hiri has a really good range, actually, considering its size. But it does get booked up, especially the good spots during peak season, so booking ahead is generally wise.
What are the main tiers of places?
You've got the full spectrum. Down at the budget end, say 1,500 to 3,000 LKR a night. You're looking at basic guest houses, maybe a dorm bed in a small hostel, or a simple room, probably just with a fan. Clean and functional, usually.
Okay, the backpacker basics. What about mid-range?
Mid-range is probably the sweet spot for many, especially the nomads, around 4,000 to 8,000 LKR per night. Here you get small hotels, nice beach huts, rooms that definitely have air conditioning and a private bathroom. Good value, comfortable.
AC is key in that climate.
Oh yeah. And then you have the top end, luxury options, starting around 10,000 LKR and going up, sometimes way up.
What do you get for that?
Proper boutique hotels, stylish design, maybe beachfront villas with small private pools, dedicated yoga spaces, full service. Some really beautiful places have popped up.
Regardless of budget, any general advice on where to stay within Hiri?
Yeah, the consistent advice is try to book as close to the actual beach as you possibly can.
Yeah,
The bay is small, so be just steps from the sand and the water really enhances the whole experience, waking up to the sound of the waves.
that's the dream. Any downsides to being right on the beach?
Well, maybe noise. Some of the beachfront cafes play music in the evenings, and you obviously get the sound of the ocean. If you need absolute quiet, maybe for working, a place just one street back might be better. It's a trade-off.
Got it. Okay, essential packing list. What should people absolutely bring?
Top of the list, and this comes up a lot, reef-safe sunscreen.
Reef safe specifically.
Yes, there is a real awareness there about protecting the coral, what little there is in the bay, and the marine life. Standard sunscreens have chemicals that are really damaging, so pack reef safe.
Good environmental point. What else?
Definitely bring strong mosquito repellent.
Yeah.
It's tropical. There are bugs, especially morning and evening. Light, breathable clothing is obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And if you plan to surf even a little bit, a rash guard is essential.
Rash guard for warmth.
Not really warm if the water's
Oh.
warm. It's for sun protection. The sun is intense, and to stop your skin getting rubbed raw by the wax on the surfboard, seriously, don't skip the rash guard.
Okay, rash guard. What else?
A reusable water bottle. Big one. Lots of places have refill stations with filtered water, so you can easily cut down on plastic waste. Very much part of the eco-conscious vibe there.
Good. Now money matters.
Cash. Cards. ATMs.
Crucial point. Carry cash. Sri Lankan rupees. While the fancier hotels and the modern cafes will likely take credit cards.
The local spots won't. Almost certainly not. The rice and curry places, the little fruit stalls, and absolutely all the tuk-tuk drivers, they're strictly cash only.
Well, where do you get cash? Are there ATMs in Hiri itself?
Not always reliable, right, in Hiri. Sometimes they're empty or out of service. The best bet is to use the ATMs in the nearby town, Dickwella. There are proper bank ATMs there. Maybe take out a decent amount at once so you don't have to keep going back.
Good plan. Okay, finally, safety and local respect. Any key things to keep in mind?
Water safety first. While the main swimming area is generally calm, be aware near the mouth of the bay where the waves are. Rip currents can form, especially if the swell is big or during the monsoon shoulder seasons. Just be mindful, maybe ask locals if you're unsure. Don't swim alone if conditions look rough.
Right. And transport safety.
Tuk-tuks. Always agree on the price before you get in. Just confirm the total cost in rupees to your destination up front. Saves any hassle or arguments later. Standard practice everywhere in Sri Lanka, really.
Good reminder. And cultural respect.
Yeah, this is important. Hiri Beach itself is very relaxed. Swimwear is fine. But if you leave the immediate beach area, like walking into Dickwella town, or especially if you visit a temple like Wavurukanola,
But dress modestly.
yes, cover your shoulders and knees, both men and women. It's just basic respect for the local Buddhist culture, and it's really appreciated.
Okay, great practical advice. So let's try and synthesize this. What are the main takeaways about Hiriketiya?
I think the main thing is that Hiriki is genuinely rare. It's managed to hit this trifecta. It's undeniably beautiful. It's functionally brilliant for specific things like surfing and relaxing. And it's somehow held on to this feeling of authenticity, this sustainable vibe. That's hard to find anywhere now.
It really excels at multiple things simultaneously, doesn't it? Perfect waves for learning because of the bay's shape, the right infrastructure for remote work, and this deep-seated wellness culture for just escaping everything.
And it attracts a certain type of person, I think, intentional travelers, people who value that community, feel that slower pace, maybe more than just ticking off sites.
And the fact that this tiny place, now globally known, especially among nomads, has managed its growth, partly through luck of geography, partly through community choices, that feels like a lesson.
It really does. It shows maybe that authenticity isn't automatically doomed when a place gets discovered. Maybe it can be preserved with effort.
The beauty and the pace seem fundamentally linked to how the community protects that atmosphere.
Exactly.
So the final thought we want to leave you with is this. If a place like Hyrie, which is on the map now, can hold on to its core character through conscious choices and natural limits, what does that teach us about how we travel? About the power of traveling slowly, intentionally.
Yeah, maybe ask yourself, if you were to go to Hawaii or somewhere like it for a decent amount of time, how would you personally contribute? How would you ensure your presence adds to that special vibe rather than, slowly eroding the very thing you went there to find?
What rhythm do you bring? That's the real deep dive, isn't it?
It really is.
Something to think about as you plan that next trip. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
Catch you on the next one.